welcome back to the Real and Raw.
Yes, with Tasha and
Show.
Angela.
Yes, we're so excited. We're so excited to come back and record a second episode to you guys. We had so much positive feedback. The first episode,
Yes.
we
Thank you. Thank you for all of that.
guys. We know the audio was off, but we definitely wanted to get an episode out to you guys because the anticipation was building up. So we wanted to get something out. We heard you. The audio was bad. We get it,
Yes.
and we're working on it. Hopefully, this episode.
Yes. I'm working on my Spanglish too. So yes.
So it's all a learning process for us, but we're so excited that you guys tuned in. We appreciate all of you guys. We love you guys. Angela, I don't know about you, but like everybody is like a friend to me, right? Everybody
Oh yes.
is like a friend. Even if I never met you, you're like a friend in my head. So I'm going to reference you from now on as my friend, right? Even if I don't know you, hopefully one day I get to meet you. But again, we're so appreciative and excited for this journey. And we just want to discuss topics that you guys could relate to, right? So
Yes.
that being said, we did have a friend send us a voice message over this past week, and we would like to address it. The voice message was just questions, topics that she was going through in her life. The question was, when you choose to separate from your spouse or your partner, do you stay with your partner or your spouse due to the kids? Or do you choose to walk away? And then how do you think it would affect the children? And I
That's
think
a tough
that,
one.
yeah, and I think that definitely touches home for me because in the last episode I did mention that my husband and I are separated. Our situation is a little complicated because we still live together, guys. I know it's a lot, but we still live together, but we are separated. And how does it affect the kids if when I choose to move out? How does it affect the kids when we choose to actually divorce? Like these are definitely a huge concern. And you don't even have to be married. You can just be separated. You could just be dating and had a kid with the guy and or the girl, and you're separated. So how does that affect the children? What do? Do you choose to stay with that person because of the kids? You don't want the kids to be sad or their feelings to be hurt. What do you think?
Honestly, I feel like um if you're gonna separate and if you're at that point where you're now thinking of separating, getting a divorce, that means that you and your husband or wife have come to a conclusion that your relationship is not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work anymore. So I feel why stay in your household where the kids are going to see all of that.
Yeah,
That could affect them.
yeah,
You might be arguing with your husband or your wife all the time.
yeah,
You can't pretend, kids are very smart nowadays. You
yeah,
can't pretend this perfect picture in front of them because they're gonna see it
yeah,
automatically. They're gonna see it,
yeah,
and then I feel like that could affect them more than a separation or living in different households
yeah,
than living in one household and seeing mom and dad fighting, arguing all the time.
yeah.
It's not a healthy environment.
I definitely agree. I definitely think that it becomes toxic, right? So it comes to the point that do you want to stay in the relationship and live together and just argue all the time or fight all the time? And how does that affect the children? I think that you definitely have to weigh out your options, but for the reason for your separation, right? Because maybe everything is calm, cool, and collect at home. Maybe the kids never knew
Right.
the issue and now they're confused. Maybe, the spouse cheated on the other person, but the kids never even knew that that happened because you guys don't argue. It really depends on the dynamic of, your relationship. I could speak because we're being real. And, I try to be careful, like when we decided to come out with this podcast,
Yes.
I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna be honest. But then, like once I posted the first episode, I'm like, Natasha, you gotta really think, like, be careful what you say because it's recorded, right? Like, and you're going through it. It's current. It's real life.
Yeah,
It's happening right now. It's not something that happened years ago that I can talk about now. I'm actually living this. So for
right.
me, speaking on me, when we chose to separate and still live in the same house, like we live in separate bedrooms or whatever, but we still live in the same house. I sat down with my children, and I believe in communicating with my kids. And my son, my 9-year old, actually said to me, "Well, I thought you guys hated each other because you guys argue all the time."
He
So
saw that you guys were arguing, so he
And that was
kind of,
my first time hearing him ever
right.
even say that. Like prior to, I never even like realized how it affected him negatively because
Yeah.
they never said anything. Kids usually just watch; they don't say anything. So when he
Yep.
said that, he was like, "I thought you guys hated each other already." like he's not surprised. I thought you guys hated each other. So I think that going back to our friend's question, as far as do you stay separated or do you stay for the children? I think the children already know what's up before you even announce the separation. I think they
Yeah, but
want you to be happy.
if they do know, but is it worth you staying there and for them to continue seeing and continue knowing?
No,
I feel like it's not worth it.
no.
You got to think about your kids.
I think that for a lot of people, they're so scared to leave a situation because they're saying, well, you want your kids to live in a two-parent household, right? And if
Right.
your kids don't live in a two-parent household, then it's going to affect them in some way or another. I didn't live
Right.
in a two-parent household, right? My mom and my dad, they weren't together. But that doesn't mean that I'm screwed up. That doesn't mean that, the person that lived in a two-family house, like a two-parent household, don't have issues, you know?
Mhm.
The person that could have grew up with their mother and father could have saw their mother and father fight all the time. And now they're married and now they're in a relationship and they think that what they grew up and what they saw with their parents fighting all the time is what is supposed to happen because that's how they grew up.
Like it's normal,
Happen.
and it's
Yeah.
not normal.
And it's not normal. So, do I think you should stay in a relationship for the children? Absolutely not. Also, the kids are going to get older. The kids are going to move out. They're going to have their own lives.
Yes.
And then you're going to look back at the past 18 years.
Everything you have wasted, all your time.
Yeah. So you
Yes.
chose to be unhappy. You chose to be mistreated. You chose to like put your kids so high up on that pedestal that you made a decision to stay in something to not be happy. I don't agree with that. I think that a lot of old school people are like, no, stick with it, stay with it. I had my grandmother actually told me that my aunt and uncle stayed married until the kids went to college. And then they decided,
Yes, you know what's crazy now that you mention that? I know a couple that they were going through something, you know, a situation, and they was actually waiting. They was like, you know what? If it doesn't work out, we're not gonna separate right now. We're gonna wait until our kid goes to, college,
yeah,
because they didn't want their kid to, like, you know, get distracted or not focus on, his classwork and all of that. So they were painting this whole perfect picture for him. And until he went to college, that's when they would decide to, like, we're gonna go each our own way.
yeah,
Which I don't know how to even think about that.
yeah.
How can you even do that for that long?
No,
Depending how old is your kid.
yeah, I think
But
that the kids know. I think deep down inside, the children really know that you're not happy. And what is that saying to them? That's teaching them that when they get married, to stay in something, even if they're not happy. And I think that
exactly.
we have to be an example for our children. And our children, especially once they get older, we definitely have to be an example, and we have to show them what to accept and what not to accept. And I think that if we have anything in life, not materialistic, not your job, not if we have anything in life, it's our happiness.
Yes.
We can control our emotions. We can control what makes us happy and what does not make us happy. And for us to allow a situation to make us unhappy for so long just for the children, I think is unfair. And I think it's selfish
Yes.
for
So
anybody to
definitely.
even expect you to stay in something if you were unhappy. If you were at a job that you were unhappy with, would you stay? Maybe because you had to pay your bills. But
Yes. Yes.
I would
It
hope that,
depends.
but I would hope that you would stay at that job. But in the meantime, while you're at that job, you're applying for other
You
jobs
know,
you might like. You
you
know,
know
it's
what
not the
also
same.
plays too? Be comfortable.
Yeah,
Being comfortable in a situation. A lot of like, partners or, husband and wives, they stay in a situation because they're comfortable. They're
yeah,
comfortable in their living arrangements and all of that.
yeah,
So that also too plays a big part
yeah,
when, when you make a decision, a big decision like this to separate, divorce, whatever. And you have to really think, and it goes back to your happiness. You really got to think about, are you happy?
yeah,
Is it, is it worth me going through all this because I want my kids to, to not suffer?
yeah.
I personally think
Now I
it's
will
not
say
worth.
that, like, all right, so yeah, I'm like, walk away, right? But like what you just said just hit home too. Like sometimes we walk away and we realize that we're still not happy, right? So at the end of the day, we
Mhm.
have to try to figure out who we are as a person. I feel like
Right.
sometimes when we're in relationships or we get married, we lose ourselves because we're trying so hard to make our partner happy and we're trying so hard to please everybody else that we forget about us. And I will say, like, in my marriage for 13 years, like, I started off young. So, like, I didn't know what marriage was. So, there's a lot of things that I accepted. There's a lot of things that I overlooked because I was like, this is what it's supposed to be. I didn't know any better. I don't know what marriage is supposed to be. There's no handbook that says this is what marriage is supposed to be. So a lot of things
Right.
I dealt with, a lot of things I thought I was compromising to, right? I thought like, okay, he doesn't want me to go travel with my girlfriend. He just wants like my vacations to be just with like the family. So I sacrificed that. I made those decisions like, okay, no, we're just only going on vacation with the family, um, which is something minor. But what I realized after 13 years is that I was losing myself, right? I was giving up a
Mhm.
lot of things that I wanted to do and who I was to make somebody else happy and content where they were. And what I found is that they were never content. No matter what I did, even though I was losing myself in the process, no matter what I did, that person still was not satisfied. That person still was not happy. And
Yeah.
I think that that's why it's important that when you're in a relationship, that you still keep who you are. Like you came into the relationship a certain way. Don't change who you are to make.
Yeah. Don't lose yourself.
And I think that's what happened with me. So for me, a lot of things when I look back on the relationship, I'm like, I don't blame him because I feel like a lot of things I allowed. I allowed a lot of things, right? Because I wanted to keep the peace. I didn't want to argue. I wanted things to be cordial. So I allowed a lot of things to take place, even though I was losing myself and I didn't realize it. So I don't fault him. I think that he's a great person. I think that, like maybe we just moved too fast, like in our relationship. But I say all of that to say that, if you're unhappy and you start to lose yourself in a relationship and you don't know who you are anymore and you're like a puppet, like I started to feel like a puppet. Like I was just doing what I was told and not doing
Right.
what I wanted to do. And I think that
Yes, because I feel like if you was doing all that, maybe it was because you wanted to make him happy
yeah, yeah,
and you was forgetting about your happiness.
Yeah. There was even
So
times where like I would tell him that I'm gonna do something and I knew it was too much. I was putting too much on my plate. You know, I have four children, I'm a self-employed as well as working 9 to 5, so to speak. Like I was putting so much on my plate and I just didn't want to disappoint him. So I was like, oh yeah,
yeah,
I'll do that. Anything that he asked me to do, I'm like, oh yeah, I could do that. But what I was found out to be was a liar, right?
yeah,
Because he would be like, "You said you was gonna do this and you didn't do it. Like you don't keep your word. You're a liar." So then when we were going to like therapy, we were able to discuss in therapy, like, well, the issue is Tasha doesn't keep her word. So then the therapist is like, well, why don't you keep your word? And I'm like, because I am just telling him that I can do it because I want to make him happy. I don't want to disappoint him. And what I found is I still disappointed him, right? Because I put too
hmm,
much on my plate, you know,
yeah,
there's only but so much I can do as a person. And but that was my fault because I should have had the confidence to be open and be honest with myself and start saying no.
right,
So that's what I started doing. I started saying no. And then that's when like the issues really started happening because I'm like, no, I can't do that. No, I'm not doing that
yeah,
today. I'm not doing that tomorrow. Like I'm not doing I got really excited with the no and I was like, nope, that's not happening either. So so to say all of that is to stay in a relationship because of the kids. If it's unhealthy, no. If you're losing yourself, no. If
mm-mm.
if you're doing it with the hopes that your kids will be in a better place, no. I had my 13-year-old come to me and she told me, I just want you to be happy, mom. She didn't say to me,
She noticed, she
yeah,
will see everything. Once you have older kids, they catch on to things.
yeah,
They see things, they observe things. So you definitely have to be careful when you have older kids because they obviously understand more than little ones. And like you said, we as parents, we have to be role models for them. We
yeah,
have to, as they're growing, we're actually their teachers in life.
yeah,
We don't know stuff neither. We're learning through,
yeah.
we're learning also, but
But I
they
like
obviously they're
now,
like a sponge. They take everything that they see from us, they take it.
yeah,
So we definitely have to be very careful when we make decisions
yeah.
and because it
Now,
could affect them,
and our
in the
actions
long
and
run.
our decisions affect them, right? So like when I get
Mhm.
upset and I'm screaming and yelling at the top of my lungs, and then later on I tell my son to go do his homework and he's screaming and yelling, where do you think he
Mhm.
learned that from? Right? The kids are watching
Yeah.
you. And
Yes.
and when you
I'm telling you, they're like sponges. They
don't,
observe, they absorb everything.
yeah. So when it
Everything.
comes to the separation part, like, do I think separation is easy? No, it's not. Like, I've been with my husband since high school. I don't know what it feels like to be on my own, on my own with
Yeah.
four beings, like depending on me. I don't know what that feels like, but I know what it feels like to be, to lose myself. I know what it
Right.
feels like to not be happy. I know what it
Right.
feels like to question my every move, whether what I'm doing is the right thing or what I'm doing is the wrong thing. I know, like, when I question whether I should be here on earth still, because sometimes you just feel so low, like nothing you can do is right. So why are you even here? Like when you have those moments and you start thinking those type of ways, you have to make a decision to walk away. And
Right.
guys, I'm being so raw with you right now. And some of the stuff is even like hard for me to even say because I don't talk about this, like maybe to my close friends and Angela, but I want you guys to understand that it's not an easy decision to walk away. I didn't just wake up one morning and say, I'm done. Like this was something that was worked on. We went to therapy for years, and it was just hard. It's hard. It's not easy. Um, to think about like being independent. I don't know what that feels like. I've never was independent, right? Like I left from living with my family to living with my husband. I've never been on my
Right.
own. So when that question comes from our friend, I appreciate it because it definitely has me reevaluate. But what I would suggest to you guys when you're looking at that and that question pops up in your head, like maybe I should stay in this for the kids. When he's um, being physically abusive to you and you're like, I'm staying in it for the kids. No,
Mm-mm.
no. When he's being mentally abusive to you, no. When you're just
No.
not happy, no. Because understanding that we think we're doing it for the kids, but the kids know. They know a lot more than what they tell you.
Oh yeah.
And I even had my daughter's 13, I even had her enter therapy because even what they don't tell you, they still know. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I go to therapy and have conversations with the therapist, and I wouldn't even know that she was feeling those ways or she thought those things. So I think that our children know more than what we give them credit for. They're very smart. And
Oh yeah.
what would you say as far as you know, your situation was. I know that you weren't married, but you were in a relationship and you had to make a decision to separate for the better of you. Like, how did you make that?
Right. Well, obviously, it all falls down to being unhappy, you know, because the main thing, if you're unhappy, ain't no way of being in a relation when you're unhappy. It just is not, it's not even worth it. And at one point, I did lose myself too. I was at one point saying, am I not good enough? Am I like, what is wrong with me that, this relationship is not working? So, I do have a kid, kids with this person. So I was like, you know what? Luckily, I wasn't married. So it was easier. But the difficult part, of course, is when you have kids. But my decision, I had to like, stop all of that because I wasn't happy. And my unhappiness reflected on how I would like treat my kids
Yeah,
because I would wake up, feeling like, what, I don't even want to do nothing.
yeah,
I was so unhappy, like, what, no. And then my kids would be like, Ma, let's go do something, especially my oldest one. She would be like, let's go do here, there. I was like, no, I don't want to do nothing. So, when you're unhappy, those are like, that's like your, what is it? That's like telling you, like, what? It's time for you to move on. That's
it
it.
affects, when you're unhappy, it affects everybody around you.
It
And
do.
then sometimes you don't even realize that it affects everyone around you. I'll tell you, like 2020 has been so rough for me, and I know I'm getting off the topic, and we're not gonna like dwell on this topic so long because we're gonna move over to our new topic. But 2020 has been so hard for me that like I would come home from work and just go in my room and close the door, and my kids would come and knock on the door, and I just did not want to be bothered. I just wanted to get in the bed and go to sleep, right? And
Right.
it's like, who does that affect? Who does that hurt? That hurts my children because they're so
Yep.
excited to see me. They haven't seen me all day. I was at work all day. And then I come home and they're like, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. And I'm like, nope, I'm not ready for you. And it's like, so
Yeah.
when somebody is able to fully take over your mind and your emotions, that's when you know that you need to walk away. It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
And I think that the question really hit home for me. So I thank you to our friend for asking.
Yes, it was a great question.
It definitely affects me and Angela. We both could relate and we understand the difficulties that come with it. We understand that it's easier said than done. You can
Yes.
easily say walk away, but at the end of the day, you do have all these emotions. You've been with this person for years. It's not that easy to walk away. You still have
No.
emotions. My situation, we still live together. Like we still see each other every day. We're still co-parenting. is so hard. But
I have
you,
to clap for you for that one because I don't know how you do it. That's
yeah,
like wow.
yeah, it's hard, but it's like,
Yes.
I do want to be cordial for the kids, and I do, like I said, I never say anything negative, because I do think he's a great person. I think that we just have grown apart, and we're not the same people that we were before. And
The good thing is that both of you guys are mature enough to
yeah,
be cordial and, to have respect for each other within in the house, so that's very good.
it's definitely not easy. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster, but the key, like you said, is that we can come back to it and realize who it's important, right? Like our kids are
Right.
important. The kids did not ask for this. They did not ask to be a part of this. So once
Right.
we focus on the children and prioritize them, I think it makes it definitely easier. So thank you,
Yes.
friends, for asking us that question. We definitely dwelt on it a little longer than what we wanted to, but it was a really good question. So,
Yes.
friends, if you guys have any additional questions that you want to bring to us, we're open to give our opinions on it, and we hope that it helps someone in the future.
Yep. So now for our topic, how does social media affects relationships?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Definitely a good one because in 2020, who's really going on
Or
dates?
or
Who's dating in 2020? I'm gonna have to wear my mask when I go on a date. Like, who's doing that? So,
yeah, I'm done with dating. So uh,
so all right. So, how does social media affect relationships? Man, so social media affects our relationships. I can speak on my relationship or my past relationship was that I had an ex DM me on social media.
we being real,
Yes,
real, real.
you're definitely being real. And in my relationship, my 13 years of marriage, I did have a ex DM me, and it was definitely a surprise. And I will say that I think that it depends on like how secure you are in your relationship, right?
Right.
It seems like that
Yes.
the exes come
Security
as
plays a
a
lot.
it's like the exes come when they know you're weak, right? They
Yes.
know like you got stuff going on in your relationship. So it's like soon as stuff is going on in your relationship, you get like a DM like ding, like how you doing? So it's like, dang, how did you know I was going through issues? Like I don't get how you just text
Yeah.
me.
Just came right on time, huh? No, let me stop.
So I think personally for me, I had an ex DM me, and I definitely think that the relationship was already tainted with a lot of other issues. So like the ex DMs me at I guess the right time, but the wrong time, really, because
Right.
when you're vulnerable and you're weak and you're not happy in your relationship, and somebody else comes in, it's very easy to invite them. It's very easy to open that door and say, "Hey, how you doing?" So that's exactly what happened for me, and I think that definitely when I look back at it, I regret it. I think that it definitely caused issues in my relationship because
Right.
I didn't have the strength to not entertain the conversation. So what do you think?
Yeah. I think that social media does affect relationships if you let it. Okay. If you don't let it, it won't.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about little about my experience,
Okay.
how it affected my past relationship. Um, in my past relationships, I let it affect because I felt like this person was hiding me from social media. So I thought he was doing him on social media.
Okay.
But his excuse was that his social media was for business purpose only. Which, me being a little detective, I was going through his page and I saw that he had family members in there.
Yeah.
He had family members and he also had, I remember one time that I saw that he had an ex in his page.
Hmm.
So then he gives me this dumbass excuse saying that it was just, for business, which it wasn't. So
Yeah.
it was just an excuse.
Yeah.
But like I said, I let it affect me because not that I let it affect me. I feel like there was more problems in our relationship, like the trust issues. I wasn't feeling secure. All of that played a big part
Yeah.
in, in this whole mess. But yes, social media did cause me a lot of problems, a lot of arguments, a lot.
So do we blame social media or we just blame that social media was like an accessory, right? You know how like when we're going out to look cute or whatever, we have that hat on, we have our
Yes,
pocketbook, we have
it was
those are
definitely
accessories. That are
accessory.
accessories.
It was
Yeah.
definitely that. It
Okay.
wasn't the main thing. It was just a little part of an accessory.
And you think
So
also like secure. Like I think that, and this is like me playing devil advocate. I think that sometimes we can look at a situation and we can be like, when you look for something, you usually find it, right?
oh God, that is so true. I
So
learned my
you
lesson with
play
that. I
an
don't look no more.
investigator, you play an investigator and all of that stuff. Like, of course, you would find stuff, or you would find that like his family was on there, or find that his ex was on there.
Me going through his thing, I found so many things that I didn't want to find.
Yeah.
So, ladies, please, if you don't want to hurt your heart, break your heart, your own heart, don't do
Yeah.
that. Just save yourself a headache, crying. No, just let it be.
And I agree. I definitely think that, when you're looking for something like in my relationship, I never doubted that my husband was doing something, right? Like I never had to
But
question.
that's because you had the trust.
Yeah.
You have to have, in my past relationship, I didn't have that. So that's what I'm saying. It played a big part. So that's why I don't blame social media. I don't fully blame social media. I blame other stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't think
social media is not so negative.
again, I think it's the accessory, right? It's
Yes,
the hat that
yes.
comes along with the body and the whole thing. Like I think that um for you, you're like, I feel like a guy needs to make you or a woman needs to make you feel secure in your relationship. How do they do that? Guys, how do you guys make us feel secure? How do you guys make us feel secure? I think that you guys will make us feel
Hmm.
secure by not having locks on your phone, right? Like,
Oh, girl, that's
when somebody
impossible. You
calls
asking for
you,
too much.
don't walk out of the room to answer the call. Like, put the call on speaker. I won't say
Okay.
anything. I just want to hear that it's not a female on the other line.
Oh, no, girl. No, what?
Making yourself
That's some trust issues up in there. No. We're
making
gonna have
yourself
to have a topic
now.
about the whole
I'm speaking
password
on
on cell phones.
experience. I'm speaking on experience. I had someone put their phone on speaker, and I was like, "Oh, that person wants me to know that they're not doing anything crazy." I had a person leave their cell phone out there. I'm not. I was like, oh, okay. So for me, I think that, all of those things made me feel secure because I was like, oh, that person's not hiding anything. Because if they were hiding something, their phone would have been locked. Their phone would have been at the
Back in the day, I thought by my ex posting me on social media was that I felt like if he was to post me, then he wouldn't cheat. He wouldn't be able to cheat. He wouldn't be able to, girls wouldn't be DMing him or whatever.
yes.
That's a damn lie.
So
That's
like,
a damn lie. You know what he used to tell me? He used to tell me, look, if I post you on my social media, I think I'm gonna have more girls DMing me because for some reason some girls like that. I don't know, but this is what he told me. I was like,
so
which is kind of true though.
And
Like, you know
it's
how many?
funny, it's like I defended him because I was like trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, all right, it's a business account. I'm in business. I get it. Like I do real estate, so I get it. Like my business account is just my business account. I don't have,
Right.
unless my kids is out there volunteering with me on, KW day where we go out there and we volunteer. Like other than that, like I'm not gonna have my personal mixed with my business unless my daughter is with me at an open house, something like that, right? So
Yeah, that's
I was trying to,
understandable. I understand that,
I was
but
trying to validate that for him. I was really on his side. I will say I was on his side.
yeah, you were. You used to tell me, Angela, you're overreacting. Stop. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, Tasha, I am not overreacting. I'm telling you, this guy is hiding something.
And we still don't know if he was hiding something, but we do know that his new relationship, he does post. So that's
Yes.
we feel like, damn, I didn't do my friend justice. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because I
It's
really was
okay.
trying to like be optimistic. And I'm like, this guy's a good dude just because he doesn't post. Like is Mike is not, and I said his name, but my my husband, Mike, everyone knows his there, you know his name. So he's not always on social media. He doesn't post on social media. It's been like that. So because I know that's who he is, I didn't sweat it, right? Like if you know how your man is, you're not gonna sweat it. So I know that at the time, my husband did not post on social media. I post every day or like every other day. He didn't. He posts maybe once every 3 months or once every 2 months or whatever.
Right.
So for me, I wasn't offended if like a birthday came and he didn't post me. Did I want him to post me? Absolutely. I want him to post me happy birthday to my beautiful wife. She's so amazing. Yes, I wanted him to do that, but I didn't feel away. I didn't feel like he was hiding me because I knew that that wasn't him. That wasn't
Right.
what he did. So when it came to you, like Angela, I really wanted to understand your partner and I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's just
But you know what's the crazy thing? In my past relationships, I don't post none of my guys.
and that's crazy to me
Isn't that?
too.
Yes, but here's the thing. They never told me anything. They never told me like, post me. No. So I would
Guys are
not post
different
no
though. You
one.
don't think guys are different?
I guess. Yeah. It depends on
I
the
think
guy.
guys are different. I don't know that many guys that post every day on social media. I don't like
Oh, there's some that do.
my brothers don't post every day. Um, any males that I know, I don't know that they post every day you know, unless they're how you live.
Yeah. Yeah. I
No,
mean, as you grow, as you get mature, as you be mature, you learn and you understand that social media, you don't have to post everything. There's times when I go out and I have the best time of my life
I,
and I
yeah,
forget to even post it on social media.
yeah. I think
So,
that like I took a 30-day detox from social media where I didn't post, and I didn't even think I was gonna make it a day. I thought I was gonna like deactivate and then reactivate like 6 hours later. I did not. I was
I've
so
done that.
surprised with myself because it's a force of habit. When you're on that phone, you look at your phone, the first thing you do is click Facebook. The first thing you do is click Instagram. The first because you want to
Girl,
type
I
your
wake up and the first thing I go is go through my phone, Instagram, Facebook. Then
yeah,
I get up.
yeah.
That's bad.
And so like I deactivated my Facebook because I was like, you know what? I need to detox from this. Like this cannot be my life. Like, I would see people's posts and I would like feel away. Like not jealous. I wouldn't say jealous, but I would just feel away, right? Like some
Right.
people in real estate, like I'm a real estate agent. I would see some people closing on houses and like every day and I would just be like, oh my goodness, like I'm closing on houses.
Right.
They're closing on so much more. Like I just saw somebody post that they closed on $12 million of value for their homes, and I'm like, why can I do that? Like in your head, subconsciously, you don't realize that anything that you look at throughout the day, your brain is processing it. And so
Mm-hmm.
for me, like I was like, okay, even though I don't feel like these things are affecting me, it really is. Like, and then I'm like, instead of me waking up, clicking on Facebook, or instead of me waking up, clicking on Instagram, I should be checking my emails. I should be texting my clients, like, you know,
That's what I'm saying. Is if you allow it,
like,
like you need to be the one to be like, you know what? I'm not allowing a social media to affect
yes.
anything from my life,
If
not
you look at
relationship,
your
anything.
if you look at your settings on social media and you see like you're on Facebook for 4 hours out of the day or 7 hours out of the day, that's a lot of
Girl, social media be wasting my battery, my phone battery, because it be open like every damn second. I be opening, so it runs my battery.
yeah.
Yes,
So
it's
I
bad.
think that like you have to be intentional. Like life is too short. 2020 has opened my eyes to see that, I can like somebody's picture or I can just call them and say, hey, how are you doing? Like
Yeah.
let's go for coffee. Let's go together to go to brunch. Like I think life is so short with COVID and
Even though I will say social media is not always bad. It's not always, in a negative way,
yeah,
because like you could use it as, I'm gonna switch to like family relationships, friend relationships.
yeah,
um there's a lot of friends who probably moved from where you're at, and you could still get in contact with them, see what they're doing, because they post pictures and
yeah,
stuff like that. And even family wise, like there's families that I have, family members that are in another country,
yeah.
you know and if I can't travel to them, I'll be able to, like, see their pictures, see that they're doing good and all of that. So it's the way
There's
you use
positive.
social media.
There's definitely positives to social media. I think
Yes.
that we have the opportunity to channel that energy, right? So like
Right.
if you realize that your Facebook feed is just negative, then you need to reevaluate your friends. You need to evaluate
Yes.
what you're allowing to see. You don't need to block them, but you can unfollow them. Facebook has that
Yes.
feature now where you can unfollow them because there's like certain negativity I just don't want to deal with, right? Like because we realize that it affects you mentally. And then you're walking around like upset or irritated and you don't know why, but you just spend 15 minutes looking at your social media and everybody has something negative to say. So I think
Right.
definitely channeling your positive friends. That's why when I post on social media, I try to post positivity. Like no one
Right.
knows that my husband and I are separated. I don't post that. I don't go and post negative comments on social media. I don't go and talk about politics on social media. I think that those things are so negative and
Yes.
it gives people an opinion. So what I post is positive quotes. I post religious quotes, motivational quotes, like things that God can help me through. Because at the end of the day, if it helps me, it should help you. Just like this
Yeah.
podcast, like when Angela and I decided to do this podcast, we really wanted to focus on the positive aspect of how
Yes.
we're dealing with negative stuff, but how we overcome it. And I think that that's
Yes.
so important. Like, yeah,
Yes. This is not only just helping you guys, it's helping us too
yeah,
a lot.
yeah. Like,
So
yes, I'm separated and I've been married for this time. And yes, it's scary, but the positive is that I know that God's going to get me through. I know that this isn't the end of me. And the same
right.
with Angela, like, I know she believes in God and she believes that, God's going to get her through. She doesn't need anybody. She doesn't need support. She doesn't, you know what I mean? And I think that what we're trying to convey
Girl, I do need support. I want support. No, it's not. I do need support
from a
from my
good man,
friends,
from a good man, from a good man.
Oh
God,
no, from no,
Lord,
no, not
good.
from no man. No,
But no,
no,
like,
but yeah,
I think that the message that we're trying to convey through this podcast is definitely, yes, we've been through stuff. But the bigger picture is that we overcame it. We can come to you guys and laugh and joke and smile and um, show that we're happy because we are happy. We know that
Yes.
anything that we go through, God is going to get us through. So that's the same with social media. Don't allow social media to affect you
Yes.
negatively. Let social media affect you where you're every day you wake up and you see a motivational quote and you're like, you know what? That person's going through something. I know I can get through what I'm going
Yes. And even if you go on your social media and post something positive to help, someone, because you never know what that person is going through. You
through.
don't know if your post could, make them smile,
Mm.
something. So,
Priscilla always
yeah,
says to me, and I think I said this in the first episode, but she always says to me, you tell too much of your business to people. And
girl, I've been telling you this since high school.
I,
Okay.
and I do, but I do because I feel like you never know what somebody's going through.
That's
And
true.
people look at me and they, especially when like I was like together with my husband and I had the kids, they would look at me and think that my life was so perfect, right? Like, oh my goodness, she bought a house. Oh my goodness, she bought a car. Oh my goodness, she has a job. She's a real estate agent. She's making money. She's doing all these things. And people will look at me and think that my life was like so amazing. And it's like the truth is that I wouldn't be where I am today without God. And yes, I'm getting into religion and I know not everybody believes, but at the end of the day, my strength is not because I'm married. My strength is not because I have kids. My strength is not because I have a good job. It's because I know that God is going to get me through any trial that I go through. So there's things in life that are going to happen, yes. But my motivation to keep going is knowing that at the end of the day, any darkness that comes in my life, I know there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So, that's me. I'm just, ranting and raving at right now, but I just want you guys to know that we definitely come here on this podcast because we want to spread positive energy. We don't want to
Yes.
talk bad about anybody. We don't want to be negative. We want to
And
encourage
we
you.
Yes, and we also try to share some of our experience, to help you guys, not make the same mistake, or if you guys are going through the same as us, just know that you guys are not alone.
Yeah. And I think that's
Yeah.
big because we're not telling you our business so you can be nosy. We're not gossiping. We're not talking bad about the people that
No.
are in our lives. We're really just trying to get you to know that you're not alone and that what you're going through, we probably went through, if not the same thing, worse. I always look
Yes.
at it like if I'm going through this, somebody has to be going through something worse than me. And most times they are.
Yeah.
So when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to work today. There's a lot of people that don't have a job right now due to COVID. So like I'm complaining about going to work, but there's some people that's like, I want a job. You know,
Yep.
understand that your situation might seem horrible, but somebody else is going through something worse, and that's what's your
Yes.
motivation to get you to keep going.
Yes, definitely. So to end this,
Yeah,
we feel we came to a conclusion
yeah,
that social media does not affect relationships
yeah,
if you do not let it.
yeah.
Okay. So you have the key to not let social media affect your
Do
relationship.
not open that door. You have the key, but do not open that door to allow drama in your life. If
Yes.
if your spouse or your partner does not post you, come on, is that pick your battles? And that's what I had to learn
Yes.
in my
Oh,
marriage.
I learned that too, girl.
Is pick your battles. There's certain things that I want to curse him out. I want to say, you know what? You're foul for that. But I'm not going to say you're foul for not sweeping up the piece of paper that was on the floor that we both walked past today. You're going to pick your battles and you're going to figure out what's worth talking about, what's worth arguing over. And social media is not it.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Half of the people on social media are not being honest with themselves. They're portraying an image.
Girl, we need that should be another topic because there's a lot of people that are not honest on social media,
Yes,
pretending they're this type of person, all this, good stuff, and in reality, they're not.
yes.
So, but that would be for another time,
Behind on child
Yeah.
support child. Like, like how you stunting in Mexico. Let's just say, because I'm not saying no names. But how you
Yeah.
stunting in Mexico on vacation by the poolside when you didn't pay your child support?
Ooh,
Right. So we're
wait.
gonna cut it
Ooh,
here because
you know
I have
what,
to
girl?
continue with my mouth, we're gonna be in trouble. So we wanted to leave this on a positive note. So the positive note is social media is not what it's always to seem, but we're not gonna
No.
blame social media on how it affects not just our relationships, like our partnerships, but also our friendships, our family.
Family.
You can pick up the phone and call somebody. Don't feel offended by a comment
That's true.
somebody posts because you think that comment's about you. How about you pick up the phone and you call the person and you have a conversation with
Yes.
that person versus blocking it
Yes.
on social media?
Yes.
Definitely have to
Oh,
do
because
that.
we have a lot of people that, assume
Yeah.
if you post something, they assume that
It's
it's for
about that.
them. I guess the shoe fits, huh? No, let me stop.
But
But
no, we're not doing that type of podcast today. So we're not saying the shoe fits. We're saying, you know, be intentional about your actions.
yeah,
If you feel like something's not right, call the person.
right.
I think that we're so used to
Or
modern
sometimes, you
technology.
know what? Sometimes, Tasha, like you might see something that you don't like, keep on scrolling.
Yeah,
Sometimes that thing doesn't even need a reaction. It's not even worth it.
everything does
So,
not need a reaction.
nope.
Everything does not need a reaction. Somebody DM you and they say something, it does not need a reaction.
No.
You could take that
Mm-mm.
higher role. And I think that that takes a lot of maturity to not have to respond to when people are coming at you where they're making you come out of your character. You have
Yes.
a choice not to come out of character.
Yes.
You had a choice to come out of character. They chose to come out of character. Okay, let them. But you fail when you entertain that. So when you don't entertain that, you walk away with your head high, and that's when you know that you mature and you've come a long way. So pat yourself on the back for that because that takes a
No.
lot.
I'm joking. But yeah, we all should pat her back. No, but yeah.
Guys, we love you, friends. We love you. We thank you for
Yes.
the friend that definitely started off the
Definitely.
podcast
Yes.
today. If you guys are interested in doing a voice message, I would definitely save the link or put the link in our comments. It's under Anchor, the podcast for Anchor. You can do a voice message. We will put the voice message in the beginning of the podcast and we'll discuss your question. We're not experts. We're just people
No.
dealt with.
We're just real people with real life situations.
Yeah,
Messed up. Some are messed up, but
yes. We have positive and we have negative things that happen
yes,
in our life, but the best part
definitely.
is that we're still smiling. We're still happy and we're able to go on with life knowing that those experiences helped us grow and become strong.
Yes. Yes.
So this is our second episode and I'm so excited that you
Yeah.
came with us again and listened to us. Hopefully the audio is better.
Lord, we're working on that. We're
Yeah,
working on it.
but
It's only gonna get better. So
so friends, until next time, but we love you. We thank you for watching. We thank you for
yes.
coming. We thank you for staying engaged. And don't give up on us. This is just the beginning.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.